Welcome back, everybody, to Kusogrand8, the bad video game tournament. Of course, we have squinked our way around and honestly found out. Yeah, you squink and you find out. That's life. Well, crappy. I think it's about time for us to go to the reveal. I do want to say thank you to everybody who followed and subscribed, namely Metanock. Actually, I think I already gave you a shout out. Well, whatever, you get another shout out. Good job there. Thank you so much, everybody. Obviously, we've got 3 more matches, and I forgot what I was looking for before I move on over. There we go, crappy. Take us to the game reveal. Watch out, there's a surprise inside. The surprise was actually Tempestrol, the GM for the next match. Tempestrol, come on in, let's chat. Let's go ahead and discuss. Are you a squinky? I think Tempestrol is a squinky. Yeah. Let's open up the little orb. Hello, squinky.
Hello.
Yeah, I was talking about you. My theory is you're a squinky IRL. Do you squish?
I squish a little.
Okay.
I think it's funny that squishers and squinkies are basically the same thing. Every time I saw squinky, all I could hear was squishers are really great.
They are.
Squishers are lots of fun.
Yeah.
I think I got those backwards. Doesn't matter.
I don't care. It's fine. And honestly, there's enough of a link between those two. But with that said, I think we're moving away from, just trying to sell stuff based off of video games. Oh, wait, maybe we're not. Tempestrol, what do we have?
One sec, actually. I just got to answer a question in the ref channel.
Fine, whatever. Let me go ahead and stall. Doody-doody-doody-doo. My name is Tempestrol. I am trying to go ahead and talk to people because I am doing a good job. Wait, that's not making fun of people. That's like actually complimenting. Why am I complimenting Tempestrol? Tempestrol, I'm going to catch you, and you are my squinky now. Yeah, and I'm a princess, okay? I'm a pretty little princess. I'll wear princess clothes. You know what? I've only worn a dress once in my life. I don't think I look good in it either. No. Can't say that I did. Yeah, but no, I don't think I would wear a dress again. They're not for me. Not really a fan.
All right, I've clarified. So yeah, sorry. Today I was going to give out 2 bangers of games, and both of them weren't vetoed per se, but I wasn't comfortable with a couple levels of familiarity. So I just decided to move on. And you know what? I think this is a winner's match, right? So we have all 10-point players.
I believe so. Yeah.
And wow, you started talking through a walkie-talkie there. That sounded great.
Walkie-talkie.
Is this 7 points?
I mean, close enough. Nobody's getting eliminated at the very least. But yeah, they took second. Yeah.
I looked yesterday. I thought. I guess I was mistaken. Anyways, I haven't been around lately because I've been working on something that will make that exact thing easier for us. Yeah, hopefully. But anyways, so yeah, I wasn't comfortable with the absolute bangers that would have been a lot of fun to watch. So instead, Abomination is correct. We're going to be playing Wolverine Adamantium Rage for the Super Nintendo.
No! Well, you know what? The players can be angry, but I am rejoicing because we've got a full hour of pain. And the players are going to try to make as much progress as they can in the game. Whoever comes in first gets 10 points and will be looking pretty good when it comes to the chances of making it into the bracket. The loser only gets 2 points and will have to fight their way to stay in Kusogrand8. Of course, Adamantium Rage, I'm trying to think. I know that we've had the Genesis version of this game. Have we had the Super Nintendo version before? Are they the same?
I don't believe we've had the Genesis version. The last time I gave this out, I gave out SNES, and when Smite gave it out a few years ago, I believe he also gave out the SNES version.
Fine, the whatever. We've never had Genesis.
They're by different studios. It's one of those cases where they look on the surface like ports, but actually it's 2 separate games that have been designed to a very similar specification.
Gotcha.
Probably the publisher, because one was LJN, and I think on the Genesis it was Flying Edge, which was LJN's Genesis division, and I think probably, I don't know this for sure, but I think probably what happens with this sort of game is that the publisher has like a design document or some sort of like list of high-level requirements, and they give it to multiple developers. So you get similar games, but ones which are have like fundamentally different code bases and have different quirks.
Yeah.
This is the one where Wolverine's getting chased by an exploding girl. Yeah, LCD, who I realized 10 minutes ago had a pun name because this is Marvel in the 90s and they couldn't make good decisions. I don't actually know if she
ever made
appears
good
in this one.
decisions?
Marvel has had a variety of both ups and downs. They've had some very high highs and some very low lows.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. Dunk, 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 dunk. Well, I think that I am just about ready to begin. I think I will go ahead and check with the players to see if they are. Personally, I'm ready to rage. Okay, I'm angry.
Oh, for sure.
Just like him.
For what it's worth,
yeah.
This is the era of Marvel, well, comic books in general, where a bunch of writers and artists were leaving the major publications to go to Image, or to other smaller independent, or I guess just smaller publications. But Image was like the really big one. So like there was like a mass exodus of really established, talented, creative direction from both DC and Marvel. So you can imagine how that would have affected their output.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, hey, as it turns out, when your creators are making what makes you money, you should probably treat them well. That's maybe a lesson that a lot of people are learning right now. Yeah.
And this also came after the the late 80s period, which as far as I can tell for every company was just a massive series of executive mismanagement. Looking at you, Disney.
Well, we are doing the countdown, so what would be good emotes for chat to spam? Again, you can spam from any channel for emotes that you have. Please do. Let's do it.
Wolverine, claws, animals, because of Wolverine.
Yeah, like raccoons are basically Wolverine. It's fine.
Yes, raccoons. I will never complain about seeing Rack Attack.
Fish. I guess fish. Okay, that's an animal. Oh my gosh, the Zadette mouth. It's beautiful.
That's a very good emote for this. Yeah, in hindsight, maybe comics creators can't run a company either. Yeah, true. Oh, can you are you already sharing your screen? You are. I'm not watching it.
You silly Billy. Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. That's all right. Well, we are off to a quick start. Feel free to use your channel points to predict. You only have a few more seconds, but honestly, that is the biggest thing that we use the channel points for at the moment, which may change in the future. We'll see. But yeah, feel free to go ahead and bet on your favorite players here. You know, I want to thank the referees here who are helping out to track. We've got Nakaraji, Bubster Curry, Yoshi Fan X Raging Over Squinkies, and Jerry Eris Tungsten Schadenfreude. Okay. I probably messed up the pronunciation there, but Linker and Clades are also helping out.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, Freud. Yeah, that boy. Well, they are helping to keep track of this, and we are basing progress based off of stages completed, and then enemies remaining, and the objective completed. Yeah, and honestly, it's a little bit hard to tell without explaining what they need to do. So what is happening in this first level here, Tempestral?
Pain. So, okay, so the core premise of this game is, I don't care, it's like it's a Wolverine solo title. When is the story? I shouldn't say that. Weapon X was all right. Wolverine has good moments, but he has a lot of bad ones. Anyways, this is one of the ones where I just don't care what's happening. So I don't know what the premise is, but you're trying to break into or escape from a facility, ? And you are doing some attacks. Wow, great jump kicks. I've never seen that move before. So you're from Bungaboo. Bungaboo just did like a little 1-2 hop kick. That was really funny looking. Basically, you are trying to move through this facility. You have a certain number of enemies you need to kill before you can progress to the end of the level.
It says left at the bottom left.
Yeah, and you'll notice if you look at Bungaboo's screen, killing some of these dudes is not going to count down that thing, because although enemies do respawn, they can only be counted once for a kill. So these dudes, one of those dudes hadn't respawned yet, but now I think all 3 of the guys that come out of this door have respawned at this point. Yeah. So none of them will count towards completion anymore, which is really funny because you would not assume that. It's awesome. So the other thing about this is that it's a pretty bad system. The other thing about this game is that it's really sort of infamous for having a wild mismatch between your controls and the range of motion of Wolverine's abilities and the actual objectives you need to do. There's a lot of cases where, seemingly on purpose, the enemies or hazards have been placed in such a way that you would want to position yourself in a location where there simply is no platform to stand on.
Gotcha. Grey Goo Girl doing a good job wall climbing. Very nice. Getting up to the higher elevation, and she currently has the lowest number of enemies left. She has killed the most, so it's an early lead that she's not guaranteed to hold on to, but still, it's pretty relevant. You said that you have no idea what the story is, but I actually have lore if you want, Tempestrel.
Sure. I mean, I do have the manual. I just don't care. But go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Please enlighten us.
My name is Logan. Friends call me Wolverine. Enemies too. I've got plenty of both. What I don't have, though, is a clear understanding of my past. Yeah, I have memories, but I also have pretty good reason to believe that some of those memories are artificial implants. What's real? What's imagined? What's been implanted in my brain, and by who, and for what purpose? I've got a lot of questions, girl. I've never been able to rest until I get to the truth. An anonymous message on my computer terminal has directed me to the Weapon X laboratory. Perhaps some of the answers I am seeking lie there. I've got to find the peace of mind I've sought all my life. I'll answer the message, follow the trail, uncover the answers if they're there. There we go. Basically, he's like, what? Who am I? What am I? And now he's trying to find the answers. That is the lore? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so it's literally the same as all the other stories about Wolverine. Good to know.
Yeah, okay. Originality, not the highest mark here.
They eventually did progress his story, but there was a good, 20 years where it was the same thing over and over. Which, to be fair, that happened to Spider-Man. That happened to a lot of characters. It's really easy to maintain the status quo. It's really hard to change it in a way that's meaningful, that the next writer isn't just going to immediately.
I took a look, and you provided a general list of controls. However, I feel like it's not comprehensive because I'm looking at the manual here, and
Correct.
This is a nightmare. Let me go ahead and show y'all.
It's not that bad.
No, look at this, everybody.
There's a lot of inputs, and the way they've listed the inputs is a little verbose.
Yeah, a little verbose, right.
It's a little verbose, but it's, again, the actual, yeah, okay, but, if we're actually, thinking about it, the list of inputs is not that bad. I gave it Hulk before, right? And Hulk's inputs were weirdly precise to try and pull off. And they were kind of, not... They were really precise to pull off, and they weren't very useful for the most part.
Okay.
In this, you do actually need to learn how to do some of the special moves. I guess I told the players, hey, you don't need to do these to progress. And I guess I was wrong about that, but I also told them there are special moves. I have not given you the full list. I told them you should experiment, because experimentation is one of the core skills of mystery gaming. There you go.
Yeah.
See, Bungaboo was stuck, and now they're not. So, this is what I did last time. It's what Smite did when that game was given out, and
I think it's good. And considering that the players all took second place in their previous match, I trust that they'll be able to figure out some of these weird controls. Bungaboo is doing a lot of dives.
Oh, yeah, that's because the input for diving is up while you're standing. It's really weird.
It's just up?
you'd go, oh, up. That means I can do like an uppercut, even though uppercut is usually down and punch, because everyone played Street Fighter 2 before making their games apparently. But then like, no, it's dive, but it's not even like up and jump, which I would have understood, or down and jump. It's just up.
It's
which
just
is really awkward.
I mean,
which is,
yeah.
If you're like me and you have a heavy hand on your controller, and you do like basically half circles instead of like I don't let go of my D-pad usually. I swing my thumb over to the other side. So for me, when I tested this game, it was like a lot of diving by accident. I had to like train my brain to let go of the D-pad on one side and move to the other.
Yeah, there are, if people get creative with how they bind buttons, there are ways to deal with it, but the players getting into this didn't really have enough information to know binding things a certain way would help, and, that's fine. They get to live.
To be honest, I assume that if you are using a regular controller, I kind of assume you're using the default bindings. Like, as a player, also, I don't think I would want to change my bindings around because it just makes things confusing. Old games don't typically have, like, button prompts that, if they have button prompts at all, they don't typically, like, adjust. They're not dynamic. So, like, I don't know. It just seems like an exercise in self-defeat.
It depends. If we're dealing with like a Commodore 64 game that has up, down, left, right, and a single button, and it's up to jump. You have
already been defeated at that point.
No. What I'll do is I'll have up to jump, but I also bind like one of the buttons to up as well, so that I can jump using that, and then whatever attack button that you have, I put that as my other main button. I try to make it a little bit more like an NES controller because my mind works a little bit better that way. Yeah,
I definitely do prefer button to jump instead of up to jump, although I've got amusingly being in this tournament as a game master and as a player has made me better at up to jump. It's like not a skill that I like.
One of the games that I've played on Steam that really threw me off, I'm trying to think, it's Neon Abyss, and it's a roguelite of sorts, and the default button to jump is R1 or L1. I don't remember which one. And literally, I tried multiple rebindings. That is the best way to do it. And it just blows my mind that a game can make a shoulder button the main jump button and yet have it be the most sensible choice.
Didn't you speedrun Mirror's Edge?
Yeah.
That game had jump on shoulder.
Oh, I know that.
That game has jump on R1. I would hope so.
It uses a lot of buttons.
It does. And it made sense for that one because, the upper button was jump and the lower button was slide. Yep, I liked it.
I love Mirror's Edge. I think that it was brilliant. The story sucks, but the game is fantastic.
the story is very, this sure was a story of all time. And it's a shame that it wasn't any better in the second game, but
we have to put a story in there. Obligatory story, not let's just run and beat things up. Come on, you can do that. Look at the 80s and 90s. There were plenty of games where, the story was let's beat stuff up and we don't care about the rest of it. It's fine.
It is perfectly serviceable for what it needs to be.
Yeah, but
Yuge is not going to have a lot of success trying to attack like this. These drones spawn infinitely from these things, and your claw, the hitbox on your claw is where you think it is. It's on the claw. Don't run into that laser.
Wow, you're backseat gaming here. Don't front flip into the laser. Don't run into the laser. Don't swing your claws in the air. Yeah.
You can see what I mean, though, right? There's a lot of instances where it's supremely awkward to try and hit things. Shiva was succeeding at hitting.
One
little drone spawner.
One thing that I do. Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's just the range at which you need to stand and the height that things are placed at and their position relative to floating platforms is so supremely awkward. What are you supposed to do to hit these ceiling mounted turrets? The answer is you use the claw popper and you do a high jump and you press your claw button while you're high jumping. But I'm not telling you that jump move that Yuge just did. That's what you have to do to stab upwards. This also lets you stab into ceilings.
Oh yeah.
But it's it's so awkward even when you do know the controls.
One thing to note, though, and I've seen it happen with Yugi, your health actually does increase while your claws are put away. It's very slow. You'll see it's essentially basically trickle health, but Yugi is slowly regenerating, and it doesn't work with your claws out. I don't recall.
I think it's just a matter of not getting hit.
Okay.
I think in the Genesis version you need to stand still.
I believe so, yeah. Bungaboo, no!
I don't remember. Maybe it would make sense for it to be like when your claws are not out, right? Because he has to like cut through his own skin every time he takes out the claws because of the healing factor, right? Which is pretty gross. But like it would make sense. I don't think it's that well thought out.
Yeah, I know that there have been some games that it's like every time you use your claw, Wolverine takes like damage, and it's like, come on, that's the fun part, though. Like, yeah, you want to be able to use his claws.
It's a what you call a cursed problem, where it's like you want to incentivize players to use the claw, and then you also want to incentivize players to use the healing factor, but using one or the other disincentivizes the other. Plus, there's the people are mentioning the hidden timer mechanic.
Oh, there is a hidden timer?
Yeah, that's the little girl that I had brought up. So the character LCD, I still don't entirely know what her deal is. I think she's like actually innocent. She's like this little android girl who doesn't know that she's a robot, and she just wants Wolverine to protect her, but she doesn't know that there's a bomb inside of her. And I believe at some point in the comics she does disable it, but not by now, not in the 90s. So she's chasing after Wolverine and being like, "Hey, come help me," and then she'll reach you if you take too long, and explode. And it's not good. So you don't want to sit around waiting for your health to regen.
So wait. How does she reach you? Like, what if you're climbing a wall? Can she still reach you?
I've never once seen it.
Oh. Well, okay. In that case, like, there is a hidden timer, but it might not be a determining factor at all.
It might not be. I don't think we ever saw it in the match, and I've never been able to trigger it trying to play it myself. But yeah, she just shows up if your hidden timer runs too low.
Okay,
I didn't tell the players about this. I didn't tell the players about this because it's going to be way funnier to hear them complain when it does happen.
Yeah. Well, right now we're 15 minutes in, and we have had we're just on stage 1. Never mind. We have had very little progress.
Oh, this will be slow. This game's really hard. Like, even aside from just the awkwardness of the controls, again, the what they are asking you to do and what the tools they give you to do it are just really poorly mismatched.
Yeah, so the super jump, in order to jump higher, you have to push down, and then B, and then if you want to attach to the ceiling, you push the X button, which is your attack button. So, I mean, it's not the only game that uses down to jump higher. Like Super Mario 2.
I'll be honest, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Down plus jump to do a super jump is a pretty common control, I feel like.
Yeah,
I actually prefer that to... I kind of prefer that for a game like this. I prefer that to jumping while holding up, because that always feels very imprecise to me. Great Google Girl, you cannot get... I don't know what you're trying to get that. You can't get that. I'm gonna backseat game. You're trying to get that health. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, how dare you?
That's just gonna hurt you.
By the way, currently Yugi is in the lead with only 3 left. Meanwhile, Grey Goo Girl has made it down to 6 left. Wind Rider Shiva got down to 7 left, but has died. Bungaboo with 11 left, as far as I'm aware. That is each player's personal best. Plenty there's plenty of time for things to change. Consider Yuge has already gotten down to 2 at this point since I started talking. Like, yeah, I do not expect us to have a solid leader for at least the first, 3/4 of the match. At that point, we might have a fairly solid, like, this person is probably going to win, but I have no idea at this point.
Yeah, this game can be pretty swingy too. Like, if someone figures out the special moves earlier, that can be an advantage. But like, I also anticipate that every player is going to figure out most of the special moves, most of the useful ones. They're not that hard to figure out. But it's one of those things where a good player is going to be experimenting, is going to be trying different buttons. Or I should say a successful player is going to be doing those things. And that's, it's part of the skill set, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I'm comfortable with not giving them all the controls, as opposed to, because I asked about this in the Game Master's channel, and my conclusion was like, well, I don't consider it, I won't consider this like randomness. If somebody figures out something before another player, in terms of moveset, that's a matter of experimenting.
Yeah, in general, like, I think there are various philosophies that we have as GMs about what information to provide. And there is the concern of information overload, that there's just so much information about how to do literally everything that it ends up being too much. And sometimes just giving the basic controls and letting them figure all of the rest out by saying experiment with combinations, that gives players an incentive to see, what can my Wolverine do?
Like there, Grey Goo Girl has figured out how to sprint. I didn't tell them how to sprint. You have to double tap left and right. You don't actually need to sprint. It's not necessarily going to help you beat the level faster, but it could. It's a good thing to have.
Yeah. Double tapping is common enough in video games as well. Yeah. Like by the Super Nintendo, a lot of games didn't do it, but some still did, this included. So it's something, yeah,
genuinely obtuse, like, it's a context-specific thing, right? If it was something genuinely obtuse, like arm pumping in Super Metroid, then, I'd be like, hey, by the way, since likely one person would figure this out and nobody else would. Actually, then again, do you think anyone would figure out arm pumping, like, organically? I guess someone must have.
Arm pumping for what?
In Super Metroid.
It saves, a frame each time. I bet that they had to time it.
In Mystery Show yesterday who was doing arm pumping but not sprinting, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, oh, that's silly.
That was really funny, because it's like, it is helpful, but it's mostly helpful if you're at a pace where you are getting that kind of speed, Is it a glitch? I don't know. It's an exploit of the game system. Like it.
Yeah,
it's more just that it moves you forward ever so slightly.
Yeah, like something that moves your sprite forward, like by a pixel or something. That really, that's not a glitch. That's just how the sprite works.
Yeah, it's an intended. It was intended, but it wasn't intended to be used in that way.
Well,
as opposed to a glitch where like the game is literally like jumping code execution to the wrong place.
Yeah, there's probably a reason why they did that, or it was just like slight sprite displacement that happens because of the way that things work. But it could also be like to prevent people from accidentally clipping through a wall or through a floor somewhere, that they realized we just need to change something slightly. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit janky, but there we go. Slight jank that it doesn't affect the game for 99.999% of the players.
No, exactly. It's entirely, I would completely believe you if you said, oh yeah, Samus's sprite is an odd number of pixels wide with her arm extended and an even number of pixels wide with her arm pulled back, and that causes a misalignment that moves her forward. Like that, I would completely believe if that was like, it's just like an off by one error that causes it.
Yep.
That's like such a typical kind of thing.
Oh yeah, like I've done like coding having to deal with like pixel alignment, and yeah, occasionally you're like, it technically should work this way, but my game keeps breaking. And so I just need to make a tiny single pixel adjustment to the way that things are calculated so that the game doesn't break anymore. And you do it, and then it works, and you're like, okay, technically that's not quite like exactly what I want, but the game works the right way now. And like, if somebody finds a way to break it, I want to know.
That's the life of all programmers. Like, speaking as someone who works in software, like, it's very. Did you ever see the movie Chappie?
No. What?
Don't.
Chappie?
It's terrible. Chappie is the one about the robot. It has Dion Worth in it.
What decade are we talking
decade.
about?
It came in like 2015 or something. You'd recognize you would recognize if anyone here is Dutch. I'm so or South African. I'm so sorry. I probably said that wrong, but it's not a good movie. But it had some very impressive visual effects, which, as it turned out, was a South African short circuit. Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Yeah, I liked the first third of that movie. I thought the first third of that movie was really good. I thought the second and thirds got progressively worse. It's just the plot frustrated me a lot. Well, there was a bit very early on. I bring this up. There's a bit very early on that I did genuinely like quite a bit, and it was a programming montage, which is like, it's always the sort of thing, if somebody's coding, it's like, oh, they're like a super developer. It's made out to be something really dramatic. But the coding montage in this was just a guy sitting in a dark room, going like, sort of like being frustrated at his monitor. What do you mean? It's right there. The value is right. Why can't you see it? And I was like, yeah, that's what it's like being a software developer. It was extremely real.
That's great. I love it. Well, we are 24 minutes into the match. All of the players are having fun. Oh, JK, they're playing Wolverine Adamantium Rage. Yuge, though, has made it down to 0 left, but is trying to figure out, it says go, but where is go? Not there.
I don't remember. Oh, no, that is go. That's where you have to go, but you have to destroy the power generator.
Well, that's lovely. Where's the power generator?
I don't remember. I'm not playing.
Oh no! Well, at this point,
it's in the level.
That's going to be one of the walls that some of the people run into, quite literally an electric wall. And if you don't destroy the power generator, the electricity is still going to be there. It's just life. Life when you're a Wolverine, you know?
Yeah. Oh man, Chiron brings up a great point. There was a movie for the Wolverine came out around the same time as Chappie, didn't it? And you know what? I liked that movie when I watched it in theaters, but in hindsight, it wasn't very good either.
That's fair. Honestly, though, Wolverine, like the animal Wolverine, they're ferocious, but they're so cute. Like, look at this fella. Look at him. Come on, he just wants to gnaw your leg off.
I think Yuge was trying to do like a Super Metroid style, like backwards like damage boost through the shield, but you can't do that.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could potentially like do a damage boost to go backwards through the electricity, but it seems like the knockback is pretty consistent to the left away from the door. I'm not sure if there's you'd have to play around with it for a while. I'm sure there's probably something you can do, but how long do you want to experiment with glitches in Kusogrand8?
It was right there.
You know,
it was right there, Yuge. Yuge was right there. Oh, also, yeah, no, I forgot. Hugh Jackman was in Chappie, but
Wait, Wolverine was also in Chappie? Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yuge, no. How do you jump off a wall?
You jump. Gotta hold the D-pad. Yeah, it's got Hugh Jackman and Sigourney Weaver, and I was actually really happy seeing them both in there because I like both Hugh Jackman and Sigourney Weaver quite a bit.
There we go, Yuge!
But they're just the worst. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so now you got to get out. 30 seconds.
Yeah, this flashing is not bad at all, but does it get worse?
No.
Okay,
If there was really significant flashing, I would have brought it up.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. I would have brought it up, and then suddenly, blop, 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 blop. Okay, there we go. Level completed. We have a very solid lead at this point by Yuge. The Windrider Shiva currently has go as well. Yeah, getting into go mode is very helpful. You do have to destroy a power generator, which is not obvious. What is this?
Here's a boss. This is how much you can see how much health he has. Don't die. As you can see, it's still not that easy to hit him, and it's really easy to die. Get owned.
Welcome to Wolverine. Game over.
Was there
no
no continues, but there are passwords. No, there was a password. It was the X-Men faces. I sure hope you guys. I think if you hit continue, if there's a continue option, it does automatically.
Nope, Yuge is going back to the beginning of the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I did say that you could use passwords.
Maybe that was a full reset of the console.
I think that was a reset because he realized, oops, I should put in the password. He hung out for a while on the password screen, so I assumed he was taking a screenshot.
So I'm looking at the various enemies that are, or the various characters that are in the manual here, because we've got, okay. This says specifically a directory of decidedly deadly supervillains. Okay, there's the Black Queen, who goes by Selene. She's a psychic vampire. There's also Bloodscream, who's another vampire. There's the Crystal Dragon, roughly twice the size of Wolverine, made of crystal. It shoots flames. There's Cyber, completely covered by an adamantium skin. Scary.
This is Cyber. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is Steel Samurai.
This is Steel Samurai? Isn't that supposed to be like or Shinobi Shaw?
Oh, maybe that's who that is. I'm looking at the helmet. Oh, you can't stand there. Oh, you can't stand there either. No, I'm afraid you can't stand there. I can't stand there, buddy. Get wrecked.
No!
I love this game. Destroy your programmer.
Not the programmer. Okay, I'm here we go. Negotiate your way, blah, 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 blah.
Wait.
Beware the ninja training camp. What about the boss manual? Can you tell me about the boss here? It doesn't even mention the boss.
I have no, the boss is what it looks like. You hit him and he hits you, and there's hazards on the screen. That's about as much depth as there is. I've only ever been able to beat this boss by just blitzing him down.
Yeah, damage race seems like the best way to do it here.
It's so bad. It's so rough. Yeah, and like your claw attack being so long range, but then not having a close hit box is just infuriating.
Yeah, the manual doesn't even say that there's a freaking boss at the end of the first level. Like, it doesn't say who it is. This definitely
I didn't give them the manual.
Well, I'm reading the manual and I can't figure out who this is. Who is it? Who are we fighting? This isn't the Crystal Dragon, is it?
I don't know. All the villains in this game are like C-listers or D-listers. Like none of them are. The cat has
Shiva, the Destroyer program, has the ability to. Okay, the Flannel Cat is saying that this is supposed to be Shiva. There's no Shiva in the manual. How are you going the Destroyer programmer where it's not in the manual? Why would you put a boss in the game and then list all of the villains that are in the game except for the first one? This is stupid. I mean, mind you, this is Kusogrand8. Welcome to, yeah, some of these games did not end up being very good. This one included. Oh, Destroyer program, a computer program occupying an unknown number of robot enforcement modules, which has the ability to trigger a quote-unquote memory backlash in its targets, causing them to relive their worst moments of physical pain and mental distress. Honestly, I feel like it just shoots out fart gas, and the fart gas hurts you. That's Destroyer program.
Yeah. Is Is Sabretooth in this game? I don't think he is.
Nope.
He might be, but if he is, I don't think anyone's ever seen him because this game is that hard.
There's the Great Beast.
The problem is, you've just said he's a famous Wolverine villain. Yeah, so he's not in this one. Getting the rights to Sabretooth would be more expensive, but that's not actually how they license their characters.
Yeah, we've got the Black Queen, Bloodscream, the Crystal Dragon, Cyber, Destroyer Program, LCD, Fugue, Geist, the Great Beast, Lady Deathstrike, Shinobi Shaw, and Trifusion. I know none of those.
Yep. Deathstrike? Deathstrike is,
I don't know Lady Deathstrike. Who's Lady Deathstrike? She's a psychologically unstable cyborg who excels in the samurai battle method known as Kenjutsu. Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I only remember Lady Deathstrike because she's in the GBC game. Was she in the Wolverine movie? She's in X2? I don't remember that.
No, I don't know. I don't care about Marvel.
Deathstrike was in X2? When? That's like the one X-Men movie I feel like I remember most of.
Well, it looks like Yuge is onto the bamboo forest, just using that down claw over. Oh, there we go. The swipe. Yeah. What do you think is the best
I did not remember
attack to use in this game? What's worthwhile?
No, there isn't. It's not a question I can answer. Oh, Trifusion is an OC. That's correct. Raptor Boggle. The Trifusion was invented for this game.
Okay. So there might be a few other characters in this game that are just in this game.
Yeah, I'm sure that for someone who's like really into Wolverine, they would know. But I think that was also the consensus for the Wolverine movie, where it's like, wait, I don't even remember the names of the villains in that, but one was like Steel Samurai, wasn't it? And then
I never saw it. I don't know.
Okay. It's fine. It's a very serviceable movie.
Yuge, get out of the bamboo pit. Oh my gosh, the bamboo's gonna hurt. You know why you put bamboo in a pit? Kill people. Stop falling in there. If you cut it just right, it's really sharp and you can fall and impale yourself on bamboo and it hurts and kills.
Oh,
yeah.
Silver Samurai, and Lady Viper. Yeah, that's what it was. I keep saying Steel Samurai, but Steel Samurai is from Ace Attorney, who was not invented by this point in time.
I don't know. Maybe Ace Attorney was inspired by this game specifically, Wolverine Adamantium Rage.
I keep going, oh yeah, like Steel Samurai, and then no, that character was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is the only reason I know about them, but also in the Wolverine movie. That'd be really funny if Steel Samurai got into Marvel vs. Capcom before Phoenix Wright.
So, yeah, the Genesis Adamantium Rage was actually made by the company Teeny Weeny Games.
What?
Yeah, Teeny Weeny Games.
Wow.
Whereas this one was made by Bits Corporation, and we all love Bits Corporation.
I love Bits Corporation.
Yeah.
They made exclusively bad games as far as I can tell.
I mean, like Terminator 2, Itchy and Scratchy game. They made No Escape.
I wanted to give out. And I'll say this because it's been on the show before. I wanted to give out Terminator 2. they said they wouldn't take it. I'm only saying that because it's a repeat game and we've had it before. It's like, it's so disappointing. It's such a good game.
Yeah, everybody, I fully recommend playing any games by Bit Studios.
Don't. No. So much of my catalog is from them.
Okay, never mind. Ignore that. They only have 37 games, so please don't play any of them so we can torture you.
I've learned new things about it, so I wanted to give it out, but I couldn't. Normally, of course, I would not say like, oh, this was the game I was gonna, because I would reuse it, but this is a repeat of the game.
Oh, there we go. Yuge is on to the triple dude, and let me just say, I've seen this boss before. We're gonna be here for a while.
I have never beaten this boss. I have seen someone beat this boss, and I don't know if they did it legitimately.
I think I've seen people beat it on Kusogrand8 before. Like, this is not impossible, but it is hard.
Yes. No, you know what? You're right. One person did beat.
Yeah, this is really, really difficult, especially the form that you're seeing right now for Yuge. Like, how do you even deal with this? Look, 89% of the health. You have to kill essentially all 3 forms of this boss.
Yeah, and there's no checkpoints in between them.
Yeah,
you just have to deplete 3 full health bars, and these dudes do a ton of contact damage.
Yeah,
it's just
and you heal very, very slowly. Like, this fight is the worst. We may not see this fight be completed, considering that all of the other players are still on level 1, though. Like, we've got time. No, Bugaboo!
Oh,
Bugaboo! No, the loop! Bugaboo, there we go! Bugaboo is through!
Stuck in gay baby jail for a second.
Oh my gosh. Wolverine, it's fine. It's a comfy place, gay baby jail. We just make sure... I go there sometimes. It's fine.
God, it's so good. The refs were saying, Bugaboo was having trouble because... they didn't know how to do the wall climb. I don't know if they learned how to do the wall climb. They've learned how to do the claw popper.
Welcome to Kusogrand8. Always, especially when the refs tell you to experiment with controls, you experiment. Never.
And this is one of those things where, this is why I explicitly say there are special moves, but I want you to figure them out on your own. If I didn't tell them that there were special moves and some people figured stuff out and some people didn't, I would feel a little cheated as a player, I think. But if you're being told, oh no, that I haven't given you all the controls, there's stuff you need to figure out, and I think I can reasonably expect you to do that, then I would know as a player, all right, I gotta press my buttons, right?
Heck yeah. Okay, Yugi just trying to take down the jetpack ninjas. Can't have a game with... Oh, whoa, get out of the pit. You gotta have jetpack ninjas, though. Like, you can't have a ninja game without jetpacks. That's just the law.
Yeah. Oh, there is a boss that requires... The boss for level 3 does actually require you to use a special move that I didn't tell them. But we won't see it.
Because they're gonna get there.
No, we're not gonna see that boss. The third one is Lady Deathstrike, I think, and you have to electrocute her by using... There's a move that none of them have done because it is genuinely that's like the one that is weird. It's like down, down, down A or something.
Honestly, I feel like if people get to the point where they have to use a move that is required and that is impossible to figure out, it's completely fine to tell them. Like, because that's one of the exceptions that it's like, we didn't foresee you making it this far. Or we could just let Yuge bash his head against the wall for, like, the remainder of the time. That's fine.
Yes, if someone gets to that point, they will be quite far into the lead, I think. And it won't matter anyways. You have to do a move where Wolverine sticks out his arms to either side, and you're supposed to, like, touch a live current, like some broken wall panel with like sparks coming out of it, and the adamantium skeleton.
Great Goo Girl might actually finish the first level. Let's see if she can do it. Oh my gosh, 1413. You're through. 100% health moving on to the boss. Make sure you save that password. Well, I hope that she saved that password.
If I get anything wrong about this game, please know that I don't make a habit of playing bad games. Like this. I don't make a habit of playing truly horrendous, wretched games like this. I play normal bad games like every other game Bit Studio ever made.
Great Goo Girl, no! My tears. Tasty, tasty tears. I cry for you.
I do respect the jab, 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 jab strategy, but it's not going to work on that guy.
Yuge going down. Great Goo Girl gets a full game over. Let's see if she's able to continue from where she was. Yep. Just fine.
Players did ask before the match, are we allowed to use passwords? I always allow players to use passwords.
Yeah, this is a lesson to everybody watching.
Like
if nobody specifies that you can't use passwords or continues, then you are always welcome to.
It is a good default to have.
That is the default rule that we have. If something looks like it's going to be a password, take note. Make sure that you store it, because it's completely a coin toss whether or not the game is going to save the password for you. Grey Goo Girl already onto the Ninja 4. Oh my gosh. Are we going to see both Grey Goo Girl and Yuye at the boss? Is it going to come down to whoever deals more damage with the 3 different phases for the freaking boss? We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. I do enjoy that Jerry Eris has been tracking for Yuge and specifically wrote, wait, what? Each boss has a different health percent? And the ruling here is, ta-da! Yeah! I love you, referees. Good luck. And also, you know, when it comes down to tracking and making sure that we know who wins, obviously we go with what the refs decide. If it's just too impossible to actually track each different version of the boss's health, then it's obviously going to come down to the ref's discretion. You know, there may also be cases where they take down 2 different forms of the boss and just cannot destroy one, so that could potentially be a valid one. How many of the forms did they destroy?
I think the boss has consistent breakpoints in its health. It's been a minute, but I think you can basically treat them as 3 separate enemies. But oh no, I forgot they do switch at random, don't they? But they each have their own health. Right, sorry, I had forgotten about this. They each have their own health bar and they switch at random. That's the gimmick, is that you don't have to kill one and then it moves on to the next. They'll just transform sometimes.
Yep.
And then each of them has a different health value. So yeah, I actually completely forgot about that. That's on me.
I mean,
it's a little
then
awkward.
Again, like how?
But you also know.
Did we expect?
You also know what
the
it is.
second boss.
Yeah, I expected some players to get here. I just forgot that's how this boss worked. But you know that it starts at 100% for all 3 forms. So if you don't see one of them during a fight, then you know that they're at 100.
Yep.
So
apologize to the refs, Tempestral. Beg for the forgiveness. But yeah, I like to leave things and the decisions to our ref team, because honestly, they have a lot more time to watch and to figure things out and to talk to each other and make sure that decisions are consistent. And honestly, you know, with a boss like this, it's a nightmare to fight it, and it's a nightmare to try to decide who has done better. So thank you for helping us with this nightmare. You are all very, very valuable. With that said, Windrider Shiva and Bungaboo are still on level 1, because this is Wolverine Adamantium Rage, and it turns out the rage is not Wolverine's, it is from the player, because this game sucks. Like, I will go ahead and say I give huge credit to the artists here. The art is actually pretty good. There's a lot of creativity with the moves as well. Like, the game runs well. It's just that, like, it's not refined enough. The bosses are ludicrously difficult. There we go, going down.
The game just has a lot of problems with, well, you know, your range of motion. He has good moves, and the inputs for them are mostly fine. There's some very awkward inputs, like up to dive at any point, that I wouldn't have done.
I do have an update for how Yuge did, because it looks like Yuge destroyed the spike turtle and got the others down to 25% and 42%. So a total of less than 100% health for all of the bosses, whereas they start with 300% health total.
That's quite solid.
Yeah, that was a very good attempt. Grey Goo Girl did not get that well, but that was also her first time seeing them. Yeah. Nightmare time. You know what? I want to hear Grey Goo Girl's music. Let's go ahead, because I'm getting tired of the same track for an hour. Let's see if we can hear a little bit of this. Okay. I mean, it's not very different, but there we go. This is
Riveting.
so uninspiring.
Yes, it's Bit Studio.
Oh, yeah.
Uninspired is the name of the game. I do realize that I frequently come on here and I say, like, oh, this game isn't bad because of bad management. It's just bad. But it keeps happening, you know? But also, they made games on contract for LJN. Like, it's just, man, I do realize that, like, in the industry, it's so hard, or especially in the 90s, it was so hard to get, like, good employers.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. It's like they want a game out, and they're going for the minimal viable, like, when you're doing art, you should not go for the minimal viable product. That is bad.
Well, yeah, as like a first concept, you totally should, but it's like not as your final product.
Not as the final product. No, like that's where you should be like, okay, now let's go ahead and make this fun.
I do think there's something to be said about, like, sometimes you're put in a position where your client wants something and you have to say, okay, this is done. It's not where I would want it to be, but it's done, and I'm going to leave it at that, right? And you have to be pragmatic about it. I think it's also, how do I put this? There's also a certain type of creative who will strive to deliver only the technical requirement and nothing more. And I think that, because that is a real thing too. It's very much the jobber of the art world. I don't necessarily want to make that accusation, but it does, when you look at Bit Studio's output, it does sort of give off that vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah, here's the deal. Like, yes, you do have to say that you are done making something, but when it's a manager and not the artist saying that it's done, that's a problem.
Sure.
And honestly, I feel like there are a lot of fantastic developers who work for crappy management. And considering that Bit Studios was so consistent on delivering crap, I really feel like it's a management/contract problem and not a development problem, because, like, look, this game runs super well. Look at this. Like,
well, the thing with all of their games, that all of Bit Studios games are stable, that they meet the technical requirements of the franchise that they were trying to meet. I think I can't genuinely offer to super harsh criticism here, because at the end of the day, this is a job and you're doing it to make money, right? I can't reasonably expect somebody who's working in the video game industry, especially in the 90s, to be like, there we go, Bungaboo's moving on, finally. Great.
Yes, Bungaboo!
I think there's definitely, like, there's industry pressure to deliver a product and not to make art, which I can appreciate. I think that it also speaks volumes that this company was so willing to produce, generic like sludge content and not really strive for anything more exceptional in their games.
Well, it's like Hobby Lobby art, you know? You can call it art.
Yeah.
But it's Hobby Lobby art.
Yeah, don't go to Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
And I would not shop at Hobby Lobby because they are, like, they deal in mediocrity. Well, also I'm Canadian, but it's like, yeah, it's if you like mediocrity, then you can go there. Is that too mean? I feel like that's justified, right?
Oh no, we rag on Hobby Lobby here, okay?
Because isn't Hobby Lobby that company where it turned out that they were like, they had
illegally
stocked,
stealing, like basically smuggling in artifacts from
like
various religious groups? Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's Hobby Lobby for you. No,
okay.
we bash Hobby Lobby here. We stand Joanne's, Crafts and Fabrics. I love you, Joanne's. I'm sorry that you are going out of business here in town.
Aww.
Yeah.
We still have Oh, not Joanne's. We have a business here called Fabricland that I'm a big
Justin
fan
was
of.
literally looking at the Joanne website when I said that, by the way.
They're great.
He turned his
the
monitor
Joanne's-
around. I love it.
Joanne's seems to have pretty good prices on foam, which I have had reason to look for because I was looking into building a fursuit head. And let me tell you, that is a very difficult first project.
Yeah. I mean, here's the deal, Tempestral. It's worth completing it and then being like, I never want to wear this because this terrifies me. Like, make something scary, okay? Once you've made something scary, then you can go up from there.
I am trying to like make it look at least halfway good. I bought a face that was like sculpted from 3D, like a flex foam instead of crafting my own because I don't think I could do the sculpting part of that up to like I want it to look at least halfway decent. I'm not expecting it to look great, but I do want it to look like at least okay. So I bought a face, but the rest of it I'm going to construct myself.
Okay.
I still actually have to like put the fur on it. This is why I learned to sew last year, which as it turns out was a great skill to have. So
Oh,
useful.
yeah. You can make yourself pants.
I did. I made myself pajamas with raccoons on them. They're fantastic.
Heck yeah. You
I
need
should
to
send you a picture. They're great.
Yeah, send me a picture. I don't have to share your pajama pictures with anybody else. I can keep them.
I am not
private.
wearing them in this. I'm not wearing them in this photograph.
What if you are just really small? You might be really small wearing giant pajamas. Oh, chat wants to see the pajamas. Okay. Well, if you want me to show them, I'll show them.
You can share this photo.
Aww.
I was going to go. Fabricland had at the time these a whole series of fabrics that were like photorealistic, like screen printed fruits and vegetables, and there was one that was like olives, like glistening, like just sprayed with water green olives, and the color was kind of sickening. And I went, oh, that sounds hilarious. I must have this for my
they're the
pajama
pajamas.
project. And they were like $30 a meter, so I just wasn't gonna do that.
There you go. They're the
But then,
raccoons.
well, after I decided, oh, $30 a meter is kind of a lot of money for regular fabric, and they're not very good for pajama fabric. Like, that's not what they're for. They're for, like, displays and, like, drapes. So then I saw these, and I went, oh, that's perfect for me.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, let me go ahead and give a quick recap because we're getting close to the end of this match. It looks like Grey Goo Girl and Yuge have both made it to the boss, but I believe Yuge is a little bit in the lead still. Grey Goo Girl in second. Bungaboo in third, Wind Rider Shiva in fourth, and honestly, there could still be a couple switch-ups. Keep your eyes on the game. Honestly, like, Bungaboo is unfortunately getting very walled, and I think that was a reset. Yeah, mind you, I don't think any of the players have soft-locked at this point, so...
I feel pretty... I don't think there are any soft locks.
Yeah, like, the game runs surprisingly well, despite it being extremely flawed. Like, again, the programming, the technical aspect of this game is actually really good. The art, I love.
I don't know if
the
I
music,
call it, like...
meh.
It's... I will say, the art is consistently pretty solid. At the technical level, it's very sufficient. There's a lot of, by this point in the Super Nintendo's lifespan, there was a lot of like really cool stuff you could do.
I mean, 94, yeah.
With the hardware, that's pretty. I mean, the PlayStation came out later that year. For context, right? So.
Nah, you're judging the Super Nintendo based on what the PlayStation can do. I see.
No. I'm telling you that this was late. I'm gonna tell you to shut up. I'm saying that this was late into the Super Nintendo's lifespan, which it was. There were several years in, and if you look at the technical stuff, like the really interesting things that were being done with like Mode 7 and HDMA, you just don't see a lot of that in Bit Studios work. It's very by the numbers, straightforward stuff. I'm sure that there was technical trickery that we're not seeing that was invisible.
Do you need Mode 7?
No, but Mode 7 does what a lot of people think Mode 7 is actually Mode 7 plus horizontal DMA or HDMA. To get that to get that like pseudo 3D effect, you actually need HDMA as well. Mode 7 is really good for like tiling backgrounds or it's literally the only way you can tile backgrounds. It's good for like zooming stuff in and out. There are some interesting things that you can do with it, but you need HDMA as well. There's a game that I want to give out that I'm not going to name because it would be new, that uses HDMA to create the motion of like waves moving around and like swirling around in chaotic water, which looks really, really cool.
Okay.
My point is, there's a lot of interesting stuff that was being done on the Super Nintendo at this point in time, and I just don't think Bit Studio is typically putting in that kind of technical achievement. It's
I guess.
fine, but it's very... At a technical level, my impression is that these games they're fine, they're serviceable, they don't crash, they're stable, right? That's the thing. They work, they all work. I've never seen any kind of instability with their games, and that's a lot. There are some games that cannot hold up to that standard. So, there's like, I'll give them credit that there's value in that.
Yeah, I agree. Why is... Okay, for some reason, I'm trying to do something with the Wolverine Super Nintendo picture here, and it's broken? Unsupported format? It's PNG! Or damaged file?
Is it a WebP and I forgot?
No, I don't care. I'll figure it out. Okay, we're gonna get this, okay? I'm gonna open it up in Paint, and then we are saving this as something else.
I would like WebP a lot more if it was supported by things. Like, WebM is fantastic, it's so good, but it's great because things support it. WebP would be exactly the same if it was actually supported by programs, but it's just so commonly not. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want to talk about formats, picture formats. We're watching Wolverine, and we're talking about specifically different compression formats for images. And about Mode 7, which doesn't exist.
WebP as a container is the thing. Why you can put JPEGs and PNGs into it.
What does that mean? A container?
That's a very difficult question to answer.
A can is a container.
It's like how MKV is a container, but it's not actually, doesn't specify any kind of encoding. It's just that people frequently use it with MPEG-4, which is a whole... If you want to define MPEG-4, that's a whole thing in and of itself. Let's not get into that.
I don't know what you're talking about anymore. With that said, we have 30 seconds left. We have 30 seconds left, okay? We're right at the end here. I'll web your pee.
I would rather talk about literally anything else in this game. The players are actually really upset. Shiva and actually Grey Goo Girl, who I guess doesn't know how well she's doing, they're mad. Which is good because that's you know what? I had 2 other games to give them, and I wasn't satisfied with the evenness of knowledge. An hour.
We have the hour. Wolverine, you all can calm down now because Wolverine Adamantium Rage for Kusogrand8 is done. We are done with this one. Apparently, today is Katamari Music Day. Thank you, YouTube. That's fine. With that said, let me go and check just to make sure because I think that Yuge takes the victory. Although Grey Girl took Spiky Turtle down, Red Guy went down to 53%, and Stone Man might have gone lower. We are going to have to review the VODs for both of those in order to determine who is in first and who is in second. Third is Bungaboo. Fourth is Wind Rider Shiva. Again, none of the players getting eliminated today. I love when a match comes down to being this close. I'm going to invite them both in to come and chat if you're fine with that.
Okay, you want both Yuge and Grey Goo Girl?
Yeah. If we do not currently know who is in the lead, then yes. Okay. Yeah, feel free to go ahead and invite them into general chat. Honestly, they all did pretty well. As soon as I remembered that one boss, I thought, oh, yeah, there's no way they're beating this. There is no way. I mean, I was right. Right? I was kind of right.
I'm sorry, I've stopped listening and I am now typing in chat trying to figure out who's third and fourth. I want to double check.
Yeah, so there we go. Hello there, Grey Goo Girl. Welcome in, and congratulations on making the referee's job hard, because they are going to have to decide whether it was you or Yuge who took the victory. And let me tell you, it was close.
I'm guessing it comes down to boss health then?
Yeah, and considering this boss has 300% health because of the different forms here, thank you, referees, for helping us out, because this is not the easiest game to track due to that boss.
Okay, I love when one boss is three bosses. It's great.
The one boss is three boss. You know, why not make the second boss three bosses? That's great. That's fantastic. Yuge, welcome in. You made it to the triple boss first, and definitely got them down to a reasonably low amount of health. Let me see, how far was that in? About 44 minutes in. I think it did a little bit more damage, possibly on the latest attempt, but I'm not 100% sure. But both of you, essentially, it's so close that, you know, we're gonna have to review things and make a decision based off of VODs. I love when that happens. It's exciting. With that said,
isn't this the second photo finish I've had at this point?
I think so, yeah, good job. Yuge, let's talk to you for a second here and get your thoughts, because you started making progress pretty quickly here. How do you feel about this game? Wolverine.
I kind of feel like I'm missing some moves. I got so many moves that are useless, and suddenly they expect you to figure out moves that are not intuitive at all, like straight off the bat.
I'd agree.
From the wall climb to the upwards claw attack and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. Like, we had talked a little bit about that, the fact that there are just so many different moves in this game. How does the game expect you to deal with them? The answer is the manual has a very long list of moves, but it's also a very long list that is, like, it's hard for me to read. It's confusing looking. It's gross.
And that's not why I didn't give them the moves, though. I didn't give them the moves because I wanted them to experiment.
Yeah, and you
I think it makes for more interesting race
did the
content.
best when it came to experimenting. Like, we'd see you learn a new move and then try it all over the place, and we're like, yeah, look at them. They're doing it. They're doing the high jump and stabbing the ceiling now. Yeah, this is great. They've learned a new way for Wolverine to move. Like, honestly, I really like that process of discovery that we had here.
I mean, just figuring out what made the enemy's left ticker go down in the first stage was an experience.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you got
Absolutely
endlessly
ridiculous.
respawning enemies, you got non-endlessly respawning enemies, and then you got non-killable enemies, and killable enemies that doesn't seem to be killable.
Yeah, there was also the issue early on that, like, you had blank enemies remaining, but it turns out that you kill an enemy, that counter goes down, they respawn, you kill them again, counter doesn't go down because you already killed them once. I guess every person only has one soul, and if they come back, they don't have their soul anymore. That's just life.
I mean, it was even worse than that, though, too, because there's two enemies in that first screen. If you kill both of them, it still only counts as one. So it's like one enemy
What?
on that floor, maybe? Yeah.
No, I think it is like enemy spawners, because a spawner can spawn multiple enemies, and only
there's
one
a
of them
door.
counts.
There's a door right at the beginning of the game that spawns 3 dudes, and each of them counts once as an individual enemy. I think, but honestly, this game is really bad at telling you what it expects.
Yeah, it really likes to punish you as a player. And, you know, like, I feel like there are some redeemable things about the game, even if Tempestral doesn't agree, that's fine. But
I did say there were agreeable things about it. I just didn't think that
no,
the
Tempestral
technical
thinks
achievement
this
was
is
one of them.
literally the worst game in the world.
I think this is one of the worst games on the Super Nintendo.
Tempestral talked about WebP formats during the match, okay?
It's boring. This game's so bad. I introduced this game to the players with a phrase that I can't say on this stream.
I believe it. Well, it looks like we do have a decision, by the way, that Yuge is our winner. and it appears that you dealt a little bit more damage to the enemies. Both of you killed the spike turtle, but Yuge managed to do more damage to the other enemies, and that is what gives you the victory. So congratulations, Yuge.
Thank you.
But second is not bad at all. Seriously, for a game like this, like for it to be this close, I'm really happy about how this went. Now, I'm talking about things that, like, obviously we have plenty of complaints about this. Is there anything that you thought that the game actually did well?
I honestly think that I would like to play it with a move list just to see if there is some move that is so overpowered so I can experience the game, because I think there was a lot of work that went into this game.
Yeah.
So I would like to see it through.
Yeah, it seems like they didn't quite finish the vision that they had here, but I do think that a lot of work went into making this. You know, maybe it had some issues with one thing or another, but I honestly think that out of all of Bit Studio's games, which they're all bad, okay? But this might be one of their better ones.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. It's
Okay.
definitely one of the more interesting ones, but it's like the least fun to play, I feel like.
Fine, I guess I'm wrong. And
No,
Tepistral
I
is
think-
right. Tepistral is the best.
Why are you being like this?
I'm being
Don't
sassy
do this to
today. I'm being sassy. Can I be sassy?
Don't make me the bad guy.
No, you're a bad raccoon. Bad
All right.
raccoon.
I understand.
No, I love you, Tepistral. I like giving you guff. It's fun. You give me guff, I give you guff. It's guff.
I don't know what that word means.
Guff. Okay. Well, that's okay. You can look up. It's guff. I don't know how to
I'll
explain
open
it
a
right now. Yeah, go open a dictionary. I don't know if I even have a dictionary. My gosh.
I do not have a dictionary in my house.
That's fine. Okay, well, with that said, I had a lot of fun with this, and even if we were like, oh my gosh, 2 of the players are on level 1 essentially the entire time, this is ridiculous, or level 1/2, didn't make it to the boss. The game is just nightmarish trying to figure out how everything plays. And the manual, I think it does help some. You should look at the manual if you want to return to this, but it still is pretty confusing and obtuse, and the game just wants you to do things that you really have no way to know. So good luck if you do return to this. The manual will help, but not completely. Yeah. With that said, Great Goo Girl, are you doing anything on your own stream these days? Are you having any fun?
I am. I run a lot of randomizer content, do a lot of just Let's Play kind of stuff. I've been doing more long play things recently, so... But yeah, mostly randomizer content.
Well, good. Okay, randomizer content over there. Yuge, what about you? Are you having a break from stream these days?
I'm taking a little break because of life happened, but I usually stream PC Engine games. So I have this PC Engine quest. I beat every single game on the platform, regardless of region. So I will pick that up soon again.
Sweet. Well, good. And actually, Tepistral, what about you? Do you have projects that people should know about?
You know, I've actually put my stream on hiatus just because I was sort of going through the motions. I was gearing up for playing all these first-person shooters from the earliest tank simulators up to modern day stuff, which was going to be a lot of fun. But I need to work on other stuff. So actually, right now I've been working on a game and player management dashboard for the game masters and admins, which I haven't told you about because telling somebody you're making something is the best way to convince yourself you've done enough work, and it's a great way to feel satisfied before actually doing anything. So
okay, tell me
I have
nothing
something
else
to show you though later.
No, not until you're ready.
It's really shaping up, and I think it's going to be really useful.
Okay, that's actually really exciting. Tepistral, ooh, you gave me goosebumps. Oh, well, seriously, that's exciting. Yeah, and do not feel obliged to show until you are ready. Take your time and make it to the point where you're like, heck yeah. But with that said, thank you all so much. I've had a lot of fun. All of you take care, all right?
Take care.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, have a good one.
Bye.